That's called Homeland. That's based on Homeland. You can also read it as a novel, but this is a graphic novel with pictures, which I thought was interesting. I've been trying to get the others in the series, but I haven't been able to find them. I found only one. I don't know which part of the series it was. This is the first book, Homeland. So I think the other one's called Sojourn and Exile. Um, there are also three other books. That's the Dark Elf trilogy, or the Legend of Drizzt, as it's called here, Drizzt Do'Urden. Um, the I'm surprised it's never been made into a film or a excellent computer game. He kind of reminds me of the The Witcher, a bit like The Witcher, Monster Hunter. Yeah, he wields two swords, but separately, a silver sword and a regular sword. But Drizzt had two scimitars, and he appropriated for himself a magical scimitar called Isingdeath from I think it was from the dragon horde of the dragon of the same name. He killed the dragon. I don't know how he did it. He was just very clever. He's a very clever dark elf who wields two scimitars. And with the help of Gwenhwyvar as well, who never leaves his side whenever he summons him. He sends him back to the astral plane when he needs to heal his wounds. And the other scimitar is called Twinkle. I'm not sure what it does. I think I think Isingdeath it does ice damage and it also protects him from fire. And I'm not sure about Twinkle at all. They once made replica weapons of these, but they looked like two short swords or daggers rather than long daggers rather than scimitars, and they were barely curved. I always imagined scimitars as having this um, gloriously curved blade. Um, anyway, Drizzt turns out to be a good guy Dark Elf, wandering the forests and realms of Faerun, of the Forgotten Realms universe. Uh, Forgotten Realms was big during the 90s, as far as Dungeons and Dragons went, and I read almost all of the Drizzt novels. I stopped reading them up to a part. They started to get a bit silly, a bit ridiculous. I think there's one where he returns home to Menzo Brandzan to settle some unfinished business. It's pretty silly. I've got almost all of the books. They stopped printing them though, and I think I missed out on a few of the last ones. Bruno gets his Mithril Hall back, and the barbarian boy Wolfgar learns wisdom from both the dwarf and Drizzt, who teaches him to fight better. There's this real good part where they're in one of the cities and they're fighting were rats, were rat thieves, a whole horde of them in the sewers, and one were rat has a crossbow pointed. I think they make this. There's this human girl who's actually adopted by Bruno, called Canterbury, and she's kind of Scottish, as is Bruno too. I think he speaks. He sounds like a Scots. He sounds like he's from Scotland, as well as the girl. I think she wields a bow. Anyway, I think she was being attacked or she was targeted and suddenly Wolfgar is on the scene. As he charges towards the Ratkin with a juice fang in his hand. Normally he throws it, or this time he was using it melee, and suddenly the crossbow the were rat was had pointed at him. It it jams, and Wolfgar gets to him before he can fire it. So it was awesome, an awesome scene. I don't remember it properly, but this this is this is mainly about Driss growing up in Menzoberranzan as a boy, who was taught by his older sisters how to use his powers, which actually faded once he got to the surface. Dark elves can levitate, and they have specific, they have clothing, these special dark cloaks, magical cloaks, made, but they only work in Menzoberranzan, or the Underdark, where the city is situated. And once he got to the surface, his cloak disintegrated, because I guess it's kind of like a vampire. He couldn't survive outside, but some sort of magic thing. Anyway, it's about him growing up, and as his feelings towards his family and his people suddenly change, and I think there's a connection between him and the weapon master. It turns out to be his real father. They were actually going to sacrifice him when he was born, and he was saved at the last second. See, they usually sacrifice children to the spider god Luff. Anyway, that's it for that. Here's another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle spin-off. It's about a bunch of Viking heroes. There's this one, he's kind of like a clumsy wizard who, I don't know what he does. He makes a magic brew from some turtle soup. And after he eats it, he changes into a giant turtle, mutant ninja turtle. That's the only connection between that and the comic. So, is there a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle among the last of the Viking heroes? Good stuff. This is the Dark Crystal. I'm not sure if it's the full story though. Done by Muppets creator Jim Henson. About the Gelfling boy who grew up with the Mystics, the wise mystic, four-armed Mystics. It turned out to be counterpart to the evil Skeksis of the Crystal Castle. The land had been damaged. The environment had been damaged since the severing of the Skeksis from the Mystics, where they used to be one creature. When one of them had struck the crystal and shattered it, a shard flew loose from the crystal, and that's when they were severed from into two creatures, one evil and one good, the Mystic and the Skeksis. And there was supposed to be a Gelfling race that was old. They were like nearly wiped out. I think they were nearly wiped out by the Skeksis with their Garfin, large beetle-like creatures that would raid their towns and collect them and take them back to the Crystal Castle to be tortured and experimented on and ultimately disposed of. Well, it turns out there are two remaining Gelflings. One, a young boy raised by the Mystics called Jen, and the other called Kyra, who was raised by the Pod people, who Jen encounters along his journey from the Valley of the Mystics to the Crystal Castle to replace the shard that had gone missing and repair the crystal and the world, the environment around it. On his way, he has to visit the observatory of Olgra, where he's told to go to receive to find the shard. Of Olga is a sort of like a witch, an augury, which means she's a type of prophet. She has an observatory filled with a model of their system, their planetary system, that constantly moves round and round, and it's only Olga who knows how to avoid being hit on the head by the revolving metal globes that represent the planets and the suns and moons, each spinning around each other in perfectly replication of the world and their planetary system. She has some shards which Jen has to 8 minutes! 8 minutes to go, I haven't got long. Jen has to find the shard, and he plays a tune on his flute. It's a sort of like a flute that ends in two funnels. It's a two-pronged flute. Anyway, he played a tune that he heard earlier when he was with his master, who was describing everything to him. His master, the grand mystic, the head mystic, just before he died, showed him the observatory where he must go to, Olga's observatory. Sort of like it was a hologram. He made did these holograms in front of him using magic. And then there's a hologram of the crystal. And when he showed him the crystal, he heard musical notes, and he remembered that, and he played it when he was looking for the shard, deciding which shard it was. And the correct one glowed with light, and he took that, and just before he left, the Garthim invaded the observatory and destroyed it, taking Olga prisoner while Jen escaped. After Jen escaped, he soon encounters the female Gelfling, who takes him back to the pub village to meet the pub people, and suddenly the Garthim invade them, and they have to invade the village, taking many pod people captive, and while the Jen and Kira escape. And Jen's got this pet little ball of fur called Fizzgeek. It's just a hair. It's like a little dog, I guess. It looks like a furry head with a large fanged mouth. Kind of adorable, I guess. She calls her. She has this. She's like a female druid, or wilderness witch who can talk to animals, communicate with animals, and she calls these land striders, these creatures with long legs that move real fast, and they mount two of them each. No, one each, two of them, and make their way to the Crystal Castle. They get ambushed by Garthim on the way, and both land striders die fighting the Garthim while they run off to the castle as they're occupied. And I'm about to run out of time there. And it turns out that female Gelflings can fly or glide because they have wings, but male Gelflings don't. That's a dark crystal. And that's all I have time for. Goodbye. Um, uh, what's French for goodbye? Au revoir, is it? Or, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if I pronounce it. I'll just say goodbye.